Professor, guess what I just saw?
What?
A chicken with teeth, and it was so close to biting me.
Oh no, not again. I warned you about the atavistic chicken with teeth.
Wait, at a what?
It's called atavism. It's the re-emergence of ancestral traits that have thought to have been lost through evolution.
Oh, like how penguins have wings but can't fly?
No, that's an example of a vestigial, which means the organism still has a structure which has lost its function. Every penguin has wings, but in the case of a chicken, it's rare for them to have teeth, and therefore it is an atavistic feature, and not a vestigial. By looking at its phylogenetic tree, you would also see that only one of its ancient ancestors would have teeth as a common trait. It is also possible that this ancestor is shared with a crocodile, as experiments have shown that both of them form very similar teeth structures.
So, what if I was born with wings? Would that be atavism?
Don't be preposterous. Did any of your ancient ancestors have wings?
Well, no.
Okay then, so that wouldn't be possible.
So how exactly does that happen? How do animals get such ridiculous traits like that?
Chickens aren't the only example. It happens in a wide range of organisms. There are two main theories that could explain how this could happen. The first is that this could happen through the conservation of genes along evolutionary pathways. This is because chromosomes hold the genetic information which is passed down from one generation to the next, and this happens with only small amounts of mutation and recombination at each stage, as the offspring inherits one chromosome from each parent. It is also clear that most genes which are essential for an organism's survival are highly conserved. Therefore, atavistic traits that are seen today are often caused by genes that once coded for essential traits for their ancestors' survival at any given time. For example, a whale's ancient ancestors were land mammals, and therefore had fully developed hind limbs, which was quite important for their survival on land. And this would seem to be a reasonable explanation as to why whales, on occasion, have partially developed hind legs too.
Okay, so that explains why the genes are there in the first place, but why aren't they expressed in all the other generations?
Well, that's due to a phenomenon called epistasis.
What's that?
It's when one gene masks the effects of another, so that the gene that codes for an atavistic feature would be present in all the generations but is silenced, and a mutation in the silencing gene would cause the atavistic feature to be expressed, allowing the phenotype to be seen. For instance, as fetuses we all develop a tail during normal development, but the tail is regressed by a process called apoptosis, which is a fancy word for programmed cell death. This is controlled by the Wnt3a gene. Any mutations in this gene would prevent the apoptosis of a tail, and so a baby would be born with it. This shows how a gene can be masked by the effects of another. This process was first discovered in mice and then humans, and shows the conservation of genes between two species, suggesting that they had a common ancestor who also had this gene.
Hold on, how does that fit into evolution? I thought Dollo's law states that evolution can't go backwards. In other words, it's irreversible.
Haha, don't be daft. That's just one theory, and there is now enough evidence for us to rethink Dollo's theory. Over a long period of time we have seen enough examples to suggest that evolution is not an irreversible process. Even Darwin himself suggested this.
Yeah, I agree with the green guy.
Oh my, Darwin! They've been watching us! Ow! It bit me!